All right, Paul, the Giants fired two DB coaches last week. They just hired Marquand Manuel to take over the secondary. So, one, what do you know about Coach Manuel, and what do you think about the hire?
Well, he doesn't have to move, Brandon. He worked the last 4 years with the Jets, he was a safeties coach, I believe, with the Jets. I heard he was popular with the players, a guy who likes to talk, good with the media, popular with the players, which, you know what, was pretty much what Jerome Henderson was with the
Yeah.
Giants, right? I thought he was popular with the players. He was very popular with the media, sharp guy. I was, quite frankly, a little surprised they let him go, but, it's interesting, right? They fired the cornerbacks coach. Jerome Henderson was also the defensive passing game coordinator. He got elevated to that role last year. And Mike Trier, the safeties coach, off a defense that wasn't very good. And so far have retained everyone from the offensive staff, and the offense was lousy. But this is what happens, right? All around the league, this guy gets fired: coordinator, coach, special teams coach. So Manuel Marquardt, Marquand Manuel,
Yep.
excuse me, was a player in the league for 8 years. He played in a Super Bowl with the Seahawks and lost. He coached with the Seahawks in a Super Bowl, which they won. He's been around. I think he was with 6 teams in the NFL. He's been with a bunch of teams as a coach. He'll come in and fill that job. And you know what? We talked about, guys being coach killers, Evan Neal, Eric Flowers, were they coach killers? They got rid of offensive line coaches. Was Deonte Banks a little bit of a coach killer for Jerome Henderson? Right?
Yeah.
Effort issues last year. Didn't play as well as his second year as his first year. So now, Marquard Manuel's, first, he's got to coach everybody, but his first marching order is get Deonte Banks to be the prospect we thought he was in his rookie year in 2023. You know what happens, right? First round picks get a lot of rope,
Yep.
right? And they don't hang themselves; they hang the coaches who work with them, right? Bobby Johnson was the offensive line coach with the Giants, right? And he couldn't really develop Evan Neal or Josh Izudu, and he was fired, and now he's with the Commanders. And oh, by the way, the Commanders were in the NFC Championship game. Their offensive line has done pretty well.
Yeah.
So it's tough to hook yourself with a prospect who doesn't perform well. Usually it's the coach who gets the heave ho.
Yep. Luckily for him, he's got two rookies going into their second year, Drew Phillips and Tyler Nubin, who are absolute studs that he could work with. He's got to get Deonte Banks up to speed, playing on that first-round caliber, like you said. And with that third pick, maybe you get Travis Hunter in there that can kind of round out that secondary a little bit. So he may have the pieces he needs to be successful. But first and foremost, I agree with you. He's got to get Deonte Banks playing like a first-round corner.